Hey guys, welcome back to Insight Tennis Tour Stroke Series. My name is Rick Oldroyd, president and founder of Insight Tennis. Today's video is going to be on the volley, but specifically how to handle that high volley, the high volley, either on the forehand side or the backhand side. We've received a lot of feedback and a lot of requests to do this type of a video to specifically talk about the nuances and the biomechanics and techniques of the best players in the world. How do they hit this shot with so much power and penetration? And so that's what we're going to talk about today, specifically on the volley. There's a couple of things that are critical in hitting that high backhand volley in terms of the technique that you would use. And so we're going to demonstrate a few things here for you so you can kind of see what we're talking about. But first and foremost, on the volley, the grip is widely known that the standard grip, or the most widely used grip, if you will, is the continental grip, or some variation thereof. There's also been questions that people pose often is, should you change your grip from the backhand to the forehand on the volley? In my opinion, no, you should not change your grip. I believe that at higher levels of play, things happen too fast. You just do not have the time. So whatever type of continental grip you want to use, that's entirely up to you. I think a good standard frame of reference is to take your index knuckle and put it on bevel number 2 here, the pad of the hand on bevel number 2. So it's going to look like this from the top and like this from the front. Okay, that's also called the chopper grip if you're in Europe. So first and foremost, we start with that. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you're going to recall that I talk quite a bit about soft hands on the racket. I want to be very clear about this. I'm advocating soft hands when you're resting and waiting for the ball. But if the ball is hit at you harder, clearly you have to be more firm at contact. So I'm not saying that you should have soft hands and let your wrist flip all over the place when you're making contact with the ball. You're going to squeeze enough at impact to maintain racket control. And if the ball is hit at you harder, then clearly you have to be more firm. So you'll judge that by the type of shot you're trying to hit and also by how hard the ball is being hit at you. All right, so a couple of things on this high backhand volley. One of the key things is the correct racket preparation. Okay, and I'm going to show you this from the side so that you can kind of see. Too often what happens on that high volley is that people will get up into this position here and then try to hit the ball from that position right there. Clearly there's nothing on that ball, first and foremost. But most importantly, what I want to emphasize is that's not the proper technique, and it's certainly not what the best players in the world do. Now, we're talking about the ball that is above your shoulder and possibly even above your head. This is a tough ball to handle unless you have the right technique. So one of the first things that you're going to want to do when you take the racket back on that high backhand volley is it's going to be up here, and you're going to want to rotate your wrist back like this, or lay your racket back like this, so that when you come into the ball, you can rotate your racket back to contact. Okay, that is one of the key things to mastering this high backhand volley. So if I show you at the camera right there, you'll see I'm here, I'm resting, waiting for the ball to come. Okay, I've hit a volley here, all right, well, I've gone through, now the ball comes back to me and it's a high volley. Okay, and let's say I'm just going to try and angle it off in this particular example. What I'm going to do, first of all, I can see that the ball is going to be high, so I'm going to prepare high. But as I come to the ball, my racket needs to be back like this. I've got to lay that racket back, and then if I want to go over there, I'm going to come here and I'm going to catch the ball here, and so that I can direct it over into this corner. But the key things that I want you guys to take away from this, on the backhand, we're going to illustrate the forehand as well, is you've got to lay that racket back. That is the key. When you're here and you get that high backhand volley, you can't just be here. There's not much to work with there. You've got to be able to lay that racket back so that you can come back to contact with that racket. And then you can angle it off and you know, determine where you want to hit the shot. Clearly, whichever the racket face is pointing is where the ball is going to go. But the key concept is this release back. So I'm going to be here. I see it's a high backhand volley. I'm going to be back here. I've got to have this racket laid back like this so that I can rotate it back to the ball. Bang, like that. So this is the key, guys. Go out and work on this. Now on the forehand side, interestingly enough, it's exactly the same. The key concept is laying that wrist back. So I'll show you from the side here so you can kind of see. So if I'm here and I'm resting, waiting for the ball to come, and I see it's a high backhand, or high forehand rather, volley, I'm going to go to this position here, but before I hit, I'm going to lay that racket back. Okay, so I'm going to lay it back and come in and make contact with that ball out in front, and clearly you can see that's also above my shoulder. Now I'm able to angle that off wherever I want if I use the technique correctly and then pay attention to what the angle of my racket face is at contact. So again, key things to take away from this. Most important, got to get that racket back. So let me just kind of show you a couple of demonstrations here. So the ball comes, I'm going to be here first, and then I'm going to go here. Okay, so I'm going to go here, bang. All right, you notice how I'm laying that racket up, bang, and coming down. Now you might follow through even a little bit more. Not going to worry about so much the follow through right now, as I am making good solid contact with the ball. But the key is getting that racket back. Same thing on that forehand high volley. You're going to be here initially, but before you hit that ball, the racket is going to release back so that it can release back into the ball, and you can direct it wherever you want it to go in the court. Now, interestingly enough, guys, this is the same concept on a smaller scale that happens with the normal volley, right? So if I'm going to hit a backhand the normal way and it's not high, I mean, I might only take my racket to here if the ball's hit at me really hard, but then I'm going to release it back and come down on the ball and hold my racket in this position, right? I don't want to follow through like I would on a slice. I want to stop that racket and hold that wrist in that position. I don't let it flip. The same thing on the forehand side. I'm going to be here. My preparation will be here, but then I'm going to release it back before I step into the ball, or release it back before I contact the ball out in front. Again, down and through, and then back to ready position. I'll go ahead and attach a link, or actually in this video, there'll be another video you can click on that will illustrate what I'm talking about, not only on that high backhand volley, but also the forehand and the backhand. So you can see that release back before I come through, and that release back before I come into the ball here. This is the key to popping that ball, whether it's a high backhand, whether it's a regular backhand or a forehand volley. That's the key, that racket release, and it's no different on that high backhand volley. So guys, go out and practice this. This is something that takes time, and clearly the more time you have, if the ball isn't hit at you very hard, you can actually use even more swing, because you've got to generate the pace if there's nothing there. If the pace, if it's actually hit at you a little harder, then clearly you want to do a little bit less, but the concepts are the same. So remember, next time you get that high backhand volley, make sure you get your racket back into this position so that you can rotate it back to contact to make contact out in front and direct the ball where you want it to go. So guys, hopefully that's going to be helpful for you. If you like the video, click the link below, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you click that notification button, obviously, so that you get all the newest content as it comes out. We're trying to put as much content as we can out before the weather changes so that we can't get out on the court. But hopefully this will be very helpful for you. Again, if you like the video, click the link below, subscribe to the channel, share the video, check out the website at insighttennis.com. We've got a lot of promotions going on the website right now, so check that out. As always, guys, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next time out on the court.